But it really highlights how ideologically captured some people are. That because it's the right wing going after this Medicaid fraud, that somehow or another that fraud is okay, and that fraud's not that big a deal. That there's what's the all told number that's been stolen from this stuff over the, if you had to take a wild guess?
So Joe Rogan just dropped a bombshell about $100 billion in annual Medicaid fraud that nobody wants to talk about because it's politically inconvenient. This perfectly captures how ideological capture is literally destroying America's ability to solve basic problems. Let's break down why this matters.
Just let us know you're not crazy anymore. Let us know you've abandoned a lot of this crazy stuff. And also, recognize what's good for everybody, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud is not good for any of us, the whole country. So we should all be together on this one thing. This is terrible. This is stealing from your tax money, all of our tax money.
Yeah.
Us, American citizens. We should all be united on stopping any kind of fraud. Forget about who's the fucking president and who's going to get responsibility for it? Who's going to who's going to get the accolades? Who cares? Stop fraud. Stop. We're all together. You shouldn't have criminals from other countries living here just stealing money from Medicaid. That seems like that should be a bipartisan issue in a rational society.
This hits the core issue. We've reached a point where stopping massive theft from taxpayers becomes partisan because the wrong people exposed it. When basic government competency becomes a left-right issue, you know institutional trust is completely broken.
To say fuck Trump.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I hope they didn't really do it. I hope they were pretending, because that's so dumb. It's just so stupid. Why would you even want to risk that? How is that not a thing that you just abandon all party affiliation and go, the health of my child, this is science. They're not saying don't take Tylenol. You could still buy Tylenol. It's a good thing to know that if you take too much of something, it's bad. There's a lot of things that are fine if you take 1 or 2 pills. But if you're that poor lady with COVID, you just keep taking it over and over and over again, you'll die. We should know that. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take aspirin or you shouldn't take Tylenol, but it just means know when to take it and when not to take it. And know how much to take. That's all information that everybody should want to be out there. The fact that people want to connect that to Trump, and I'm going to take Tylenol while I'm pregnant. Is this what? Imagine the aliens watching us and going, they're not ready. They're not ready for sophisticated time traveling technology. These fucking dopes. What are they doing? They're fighting over nonsense.
The Tylenol pregnancy example is perfect. When Trump questioned anything, people literally endangered their own children to spite him. Medical safety information became partisan theater. That's not politics anymore. That's psychological dysfunction at a societal level.
Maybe this will unite us more and make more people realize that there's a lot of people that are being left out, that are in the center of all this, and we can all come together and work together. That's what I thought, naively. Obviously, once you guys got in there, it was you guys were MAGA and health is bad and don't stop the dyes. No matter what it was, people were ideologically opposed to you being correct about anything because now you're connected with Trump. So it's I was watching liberals, the people that are always worried about food ingredients, just dismissing all of this talk about preservatives and glyphosate and red dye and all these different things. And it is just an ideological thing.
He's talking about RFK Jr.'s transformation from environmental hero to MAGA villain overnight. The same liberals who spent decades fighting big food suddenly defended processed junk and chemical additives because Kennedy joined Trump. Pure tribal loyalty over principles.
There's that too. There's a lot of manipulation that's going on social media where who knows who's doing it. There's a bunch of different groups doing it, but they're not real people that are outraged. They're not real human beings that are saying these things, and they can kind of shift a narrative into a certain direction sometimes. It's a fascinating time to be alive.
The bot network problem is massive. Studies show up to 15% of political Twitter accounts are fake, amplifying extreme positions that real people don't hold. These artificial armies manufacture consensus and make normal Americans think their neighbors are radical enemies.
Like I've heard all these people dismiss this Nick Shirley kid and what he exposed in Minneapolis. But the reason why is because it's the wrong party. If this was a Democrat that was exposing Republican fraud, then they would be all into it. It would be on every newspaper. But instead, they're trying to dismiss it as not relevant.
Nick Shirley exposed organized crime rings from Somalia stealing millions through fake Medicaid clinics in Minneapolis. Instead of celebrating this investigative work, mainstream media buried it because it didn't fit the narrative. That's how broken our information ecosystem is.
So what strategies, if any, could you ever imagine that could be implemented that would kind of unite people on these things and get them to stop being so partisan about one of the most important aspects of being a human being is staying healthy. It's like love and health. Those are the top ones that we all want. It just seems insane that we would choose this as a battleground. And it seems insane that it's connected to one party or another.
The irony is stunning. The party that created Earth Day and organic food movements now attacks anyone questioning food additives. Health transcends politics, but tribal identity has become so strong, it overrides basic human survival instincts.
Things could probably be worked out more amicably, especially among friends. It's like having good health improves virtually every aspect of your life.
There's real science backing this up. Processed foods and sedentary lifestyles increase anxiety, depression, and aggression. A society of unhealthy, chemically altered people arguing online is exactly what we're seeing. Physical health directly impacts social stability.
It's not just the algorithm, it's also the method of communication. When you're only talking to people through like angry tweets back and forth with each other. You were saying like sit down and talk to people. No one's doing that anymore. There's very few people. There's a few FaceTime conversations going on. You see your friends if you go out with them. People are not talking that much anymore, and they're not sitting down and talking. And when you do, everyone's distracted. Everyone has their phones out. Everyone's checking text messages.
Twitter's character limit forces complex issues into sound bites designed for combat, not understanding. We've replaced nuanced conversation with performative dunking. When your medium is fundamentally adversarial, your politics become adversarial too.
And I guess, in a sense, some of that is really good because it exposes bad ideas, but it just encourages that kind of discourse where if someone's ideologically opposed to you, they are the enemy and you want to destroy them. And I'm like, okay, they're just a human being. Like, find out why they got to where they are that is a different perspective than you have, and why you got to where you are, and try to figure out if there's a middle ground in there. Like, what do you believe? Like, or why do you believe that? And find out why, and ask them, and don't cut them off. Let them talk. Let them express themselves. Help them if you can. Try to figure out what makes someone actually think, instead of just thinking that your ideas are a part of you. They're just ideas. Like, they're not you. Like, some ideas you can hold in your mind and they're bad for you. They're bad. You haven't examined them. You're acting on them like they're doctrine. And then you're stuck with that idea because you've already espoused it so many times. You don't want to be a flip-flopper. And so people get mad. And you get this weird cycle of shitty communication and nobody ever breaks out of it and nothing ever gets done.
This is why his show works. 3-hour conversations force actual understanding instead of gotcha moments. The outrage economy rewards the loudest, angriest voices, but people are starving for genuine dialogue. Long-form content is exploding because people crave real connection.
You gotta just talk to them. Instead of talk to them like they're the enemy, just talk to them like they're a fellow human being about some ideas. And just treat them with respect. Talk to them like a person that, in any other circumstance, maybe even could be your friend. Just talk to them. People can do that. It's possible. It just takes discipline. You have to learn how to do it. It took me a while. It took me a long time to learn how to talk to people better. But it can be done.
The admission that he had to learn better communication is huge. Most people assume good faith dialogue is natural, but it's actually a skill that requires practice and discipline. If more public figures modeled this approach, it could genuinely heal division.
It's so dumb, because if you can't see that this could be used against you if someone else gets into a position of power, if all of a sudden some enormous right-wing corporation buys these social media platforms and only pushes right-wing agendas and silences all left-wing agendas, like, do you know how fucking crazy that is? to just give that kind of power willingly to an anonymous group of people that you supposedly align to because you're in the same tribe. It's the dumbest thing ever. And the fact that people on the left weren't outraged when they read the Twitter files and found out how much involvement there was in silencing real information and removing people who were from Stanford.
The Twitter files revealed FBI agents literally sitting in Twitter headquarters directing censorship. People cheered when their opponents got silenced, never considering the precedent. Now Elon owns the platform. Suddenly, the left discovers the dangers of corporate speech control.
It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that free speech, which is like, we all agree, especially in America, it's one of the most important things. The only way to find out what's real and what's not. You got to let people talk it out, you know? I mean, when you're living in a world where the government has the power to dictate what's real and what's not real, and they don't have an obligation to be correct, you got a real problem. And if there's no consequences for them being incorrect and they've silenced correct speech, they've gotten away with something that's real slippery and real dangerous.
COVID proved this perfectly. Lab leak theories, mask effectiveness questions, vaccine side effects, all censored as misinformation, then quietly admitted as legitimate concerns. When government controls truth without accountability, citizens lose the ability to make informed decisions.
And the fact that it's become a left-wing or a right-wing issue is one of the dumbest decisions we've ever made as a country. And I know that a lot of it is, again, a lot of propaganda, a lot of these narratives trying to push people into thinking that things aren't dangerous because right-wing people believe in them, and then it's nonsense. And it's just, I don't know what that pathway is when you're dealing with monocrop agriculture and you have these enormous farms and you say 98% is based on glyphosate use or whatever it is. Like, how do we get those people to ultimately transition? And if they do, could they even produce enough of their product to stay viable?
American agriculture is completely dependent on glyphosate. Roundup-ready crops dominate because they're profitable, not because they're safe. The chemical lobby has captured regulatory agencies, while Europeans ban the same substances we spray on everything. Follow the money.
It's a fascinating time because we are in a time of change. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, but we're definitely in a time of change, and that's not something you can say about every administration. It's definitely not something you can say about everybody that's been the head of the HHS. I mean, you're the first guy that gave me hope when you got in there. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see some meaningful change with some things that are really important for people's health. I think
we're doing it.
I think you are. I think you're doing that.
His recent White House visit proves the point. When you focus on human health over partisan games, even political enemies can work together. That's what leadership looks like, transcending tribal warfare for actual solutions that benefit everyone.